don't know if it's to do with my voice and my accent and all that, like I kind of start mixing up words and...
Oh, really?
Like at certain vowels, like I'll say words and then it just sounds like I'm having a stroke.
What about your voice?
I don't know, I lived here in Scotland for like 20 years, so I'm like originally from Birmingham, so that's a really strong accent.
Yeah.
Whereas up here is like a really strong accent, and then it's just kind of mixed in between. So
yeah, I never noticed
it's a bit mental, but it works some days. But people are like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "East Kilbride," but it's
Birmingham to EK. When did you move up?
God, I must have been about 10. I think I was 10. Now I'm 32, so 22 years ago.
Right. Okay.
So that's why it's a bit all over the place, this accent. Because when I go down, I'm like full on English. Like,
do you go straight back to it?
Yeah. Like my mum's pure English as well. She sounds like Peaky Blinders. So it's a bit all over the place. But there's people who've not seen me in years and they go, "You sound Scottish now," and it's like, well, I've lived here for 20 years. Like, what do you expect? But when I was like in high school and that, I was like, "Hello, how are you doing?" You know, pure like full on accent.
I've got a friend like that. It was like my best pal at school, and I only knew him as like Bammy or Scottish accent, like we all had at school. And he picked me up. We were going go-karting for his birthday, and he's like, "All right, aye, come on, get in the car. My dad and my wee brothers there. We're going to Kelly." He got in the car. He's like, "Oh, who do you think's going to win?" And he's like, proper get back to his Kent accent. I was like, "No way, man."
I ain't bad. I'm stuck with it. Hopefully, maybe in another 20 years, I'll be more Scottish. You never know.
It's not a bad accent. A wee hybrid one makes you different.
People think I'm from Edinburgh and that, so
right, okay.
Which I don't know how I feel about.
Glasgow, you mean Edinburgh, yeah.
That's that.
When did you get the book done? That was just last year, right?
No, it was this year.
This year?
Well, I've had it like lying about on like my iPad for like since lockdown. So I had all this time and I had all these photographs. I was like, what am I going to do with them? Like, something needs done with them. Like, it was what I used to kind of learn about photography, like learn about low light and using a tripod and like framing and sort of compositions and stuff. So it was actually just a kind of training course for me, and I enjoyed abandoned places. Like when I was growing up in England, there used to be like an iron foundry, and it was like a big warehouse thing. And then I always remember like going up these stairs, and it was like admin, like office rooms, but it was like typewriters.
Oh, cool.
So it was like just like, you know, like you got lines of computers like now, but it was just typewriters, and then it was just like sheets of paper like scattered all over.
Yeah.
And it was I was like, that's fucking cool. And I don't know, I've just obviously enjoyed it, and then it gets the imagination going. So then I seen like Scotland's got Hun as a place, and it's like, oh, let's check it out. And then I had the camera, and I was like, I need to like build up. I don't know, I just started taking photos, and like I've always been into photography, but not, if you know what I mean. Because when I was studying music, I was in a college band, and I was getting photos taken for it.
Right.
And I seen him, and I was like, I want to do what he's doing. Like, that's really cool what he's doing. And then he gave me a shot of his camera, and you know, like, I think it's just like as soon as you see it focus, and then you see like the depth of field and all that, and you're like, oh, that looks like a TV show or something. It looks really cool. And I was like, I want to do that. So like, I think I didn't even finish that course because having Crohn's disease. I just gave up on that, and that, like, I think like during the course as well, I realised, this is just like a kind of thing I want to do for myself, music. So, and that's just something at home, like to de-stress and kind of like if I've had a bad day, just play piano or whatever and just kind of calm down. And then I thought, photography, and then I only studied. See, that's the thing about always like getting posture syndrome with photography, because I've not studied for it. Like, I've not got any qualifications on it. Like, I went and learned the basics at college, and then at the time, like, my Crohn's was just like, I was trying out different medicines and it just wasn't working. So I was like, I need like a year off or something. So I learned the basics and then kind of put the camera away for a bit, and then the abandoned places kind of came. Like, there's a page called like Abandoned Scotland years ago.
Yeah.
And I had a website, and like that's all I'd go on. Like when I was in college as well, like scrolling through, I was like, oh, this is really cool, like the castles, and I want to do something like that. And so I for about 6 years maybe, I was just going around Scotland.
So that's like 6 years worth, and that's like
There's not
portfolio.
much in there. Like there's probably a lot more, but I lost a lot of photos as well. Like probably just deleted them by mistake, or like I was like, oh, where's that photo? I've got like there's a belter of a photo of it's like a derelict church, and I don't know if someone lived in it, but there was a bed, and there's just hundreds of mannequins in there, and it's pure spooky. Well, the spooky thing about it was we were like kind of rummaging through, like having a wee look at like, because it's just hunted. It was like called the Hoarders Church, and there's stuff from years ago. There's like a big wall of like a stamp collection and crazy things like that. And then I was looking through, and it was like I don't know what it was, like a ticket or like an invitation to the 50th anniversary of my primary school I went to.
Oh, really?
And this place was like miles away, like from East Kilbride. So it's like, were they at that? Because I was at that.
Yes,
Have I crossed paths with this person who lived in this church, sort of thing? And
You in the future.
I've just planked it. But but the photo I've missed out on, and I got one print of it, and I gave it to a friend years ago as a present. And it's like it was like a photo of the bed and then the mannequins on. It's on my Instagram.
The
somewhere.
mannequins, that's creepy as fuck.
And it was just like what I did with that as well. I never touched anything. Like if I walked into the room and seen it, I'll be like, oh, that's how I'm gonna take it. I do that with any photos, to be honest. I don't really. Sometimes I would, if there was like a can of a juice in the shot or something, I'd move that. But like
fruit shit in the way of
totally like
kind of ruins the vibe.
That's it. But anything like I've always wanted to do like documentary photography. Like I think that's something like behind the scenes and all that jazz.
Yeah. Do you ever watch Grainy Days on YouTube?
I think I came across it.
He's class, like an American guy, but he does all the urbex stuff. But he's quite sarcastic, so he just kind of chats through his like wee road trip. But the longer he's gone on, it's like a cinematic like masterpiece of a film. But then you just get the film photos, and it's all the places on like Route 66. It's really cool.
That's got some amazing. There was a TV show on Vice, and it was what's his name now? He was a pro skateboarder. I forgot his name now.
American.
And it was called Abandoned, and he used to skate in these abandoned places, like the shopping malls and all that. And I was like, oh, that's really cool as well. Rick McCrank, his name is.
Right. Okay.
And it's really good as well. He goes about these places.
My name is Daryll. He's got a photography.
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee, that's it. And he's got his own shop or something like that.
Eagle,
cool.
Eagle something.
I'm sure he's a skater. But when you're saying about the imposter syndrome and not having qualifications, I felt the same. So I did like a wee stupid online course.
Yeah.
Didn't learn anything. It was all the kind of maths about like stops and shutters, like whatever.
Right, yeah, it's like you've got that table sort of thing.
Yeah. You learn wee bits like the histogram and stuff, but YouTube's the best by far.
Yeah, it's like especially like if you want to sort of do like say light trails or long exposures of like a waterfall, like just look it up. And I know it's like courses kind of get you in like more kind of, I don't know, I never did it for like 3 months, so I don't really know where a course would take you, but it can get you places a lot easier, I think, if you have the qualifications.
Right.
That's what I believe anyway, but I could be wrong.
I did Pierre Lambert, do you know him?
I've heard the name, yeah.
He did like a YouTube thing, and it was during lockdown. I was like watching his videos a lot because he straps like a GoPro to his chest and he'll walk about Chicago or New York. Mm-hmm. And there's a video where he walks about the Black Lives Matter riots as a documentary photographer, and it's insane. And he gets like banger photos, but it's also like you're watching history. It's nuts. But he did a course, and it's on like creative photography, storytelling, like understanding light. You know that thing where like folk like use their hands and everything like that.
That's right. I've used that a few times, like especially if the sun's beaming down. It's like you need to kind of get the shadows right.
That's like the most useful course I've done. Rather than the actual like academic one. I find that as well with like, say with portraits, like you do probably similar to mine, you kind of street portraits are outside or not like in a studio with a flash. I'm not a big fan of them myself. But
it's, I think it's just technology sometimes. Like just doesn't want to work on you when you need it to. Like printers is the perfect example. If you're trying to scan or print something off, that's when it's like, I cannot find device. And you're like, it's plugged in, like just work. So I think it's that fear of like using, I think that's probably why it's good to do like a college course or whatever, like so you learn about studio stuff. Yeah. But I think as long as you've got good lighting, it's all matters with a photograph, isn't it?
And in Scotland it's always cloudy, and so it's like soft light anyway, you're perfect.
I try to avoid using a flash as well, like with photography. Like the only time I've ever used a flash is with skate photography.
Right.
It's like you put the flash somewhere and then
As they jump or whatever.
And
cool.
That's it.
There is like not like gatekeeping, but there's definitely, when you get into flash, then everyone's, oh, and you need to have like this exact shadow, like the butterfly shadow, the Rembrandt lighting, and it's all like, gets away from, is it a good photo? It's like all like, there's like a snobbery to it.
That's it. It's like you get people and they're like, oh, my camera does this, that and the other. And it's like, well, it takes photos, so
yeah.
Like that's the main thing. Like it's got all these buttons on it, and if you do that, it'll make like the one setting I hate on a camera, and no shade to anyone who likes it, but you see it's like a black and white photo, and it's like the one thing. A perfect example is like a London scene, and you probably got the photo in your head right now. It's like a black and white photo, and then they got the red telephone box, and that's in red.
Yeah.
It's not natural. Like you're not gonna walk about and go, oh, I can see in black and white, and that's red. So
it's copying Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was about from it. It was always like a rose or a jacket, a yellow jacket, a red jacket.
Yeah, that's it. And it's very like, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, and I just see it and I'm like, just do it normally. Like, just have it in black and white or colour. Like choose like more natural kind of looking, I would say.
Is there any other like photography trends or whatever that wind you up?
The dangling of the feet on a cliff.
Yeah.
I hate that. Or like even like selfies as well. Like sometimes, like fair enough to take them, but you see when you're at somewhere so beautiful, but then you just got their face in front of it. It's like we know you're there. Like just take a photo of the place. We want to see that. Like we know what you look like. Things like that, and it's like I've been guilty of some of it, and it's like I think it's more poses than that, like what people do in photos, like pure stand, like legs pure spread apart, like at top of a mountain, like looking out, and it's like
like the kind of rugged highlights, tense and.
I don't know. It's just my opinion. And then there was a phase. God, it must have been about 5 years ago, and it was like the neon blue kind of nighttime street photography, and it was just like everything was neon blue.
Yeah.
Everything was like really kind of colours would put right down, but the blues and the reflections of the neon lights, and I think that was just like everywhere.
Aye, the neon blues, and then the orange and teal presets.
Yeah.
Of all the kind of city stuff. But yeah, I think we were saying that before the pod. Like, I think there's a couple of Australian YouTubers, I can't remember what their names are, but they just took off, and then like Canon would jump on it and Sony would jump on it and share all the stuff. And it's
so I associate Sony with that.
All right, okay.
Vibe. Like every time I seen like what camera they were using,
okay.
It was a Sony. But they are good, especially for gigs. Like whenever I've shot gigs, it's always Sony cameras people have, and it is because the low light. It's amazing.
Because that's what I was struggling with restaurants, not having like my flash setup compared to other people for in a restaurant. We've got the on-camera flash, or I use it wirelessly with like a £8 softbox from Amazon rather than some people have the £300 and you're just paying for
whipping out
nothing.
the umbrellas and all that.
Yeah. But the low light, like that's been a godsend with the A7 IV.
They're cracking cameras. They're expensive though, but they are good. But like I said earlier, like my friend's got one, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to have a wee shot of it?" But like for me, like for my camera, I've changed all the buttons about.
Right.
So I know like my ISO is like there, and then God, what else have I done? Like I don't use the wee halfway shutter, like like
use back button focus.
I use the back button, stuff like that. Like and then always keep it on like aperture priority, just as a base. Because if I'm driving about and I go, oh my God, there's a good photo, I can get it quick, sort of thing. So I can just mess about with the ISO and that like aperture, and the shutter speed will do its work. Whereas like that's the only time every time I turn it off, put everything back to normal and put it on aperture, just for that quick focus. You never know, like the amount of times I've been like Holly in the car, I'll be driving and I'm like, oh my God, there's a classic car down there, and she's like, Lee, watch the road, and I'm like, yeah, but the amount of times, like the whole reason for the everyday page as well, like the amount of times I've been out and I'm like, I wish I had my camera.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So you've got a thing every day this year. It's called like May 366 days.
Yeah.
I take it as a leap year or something.
I had to pick the longest year.
Yeah, I was like, does he? I was like, it must be a leap year or something. So you've been taking a photo every day, and then are you editing it, or is it like a film preset on the?
It is a preset on the camera, so maybe I'll change a bit of the lighting in it, in that set, like in case it's a wee bit too dark or whatever. But
is it what do you use? Is it a Eterna or something, or is it like a recipe?
It is a recipe. I've like kind of made I based it off a Portra 400, but kind of made it my own kind of style.
Is it the X Weekly or something when you get the
I've got the app,
so good.
Like my black and white one is what I use for like the self-made page. I'll just love that it was a TX 400, T-Max 400 film stock, and I've replicated it on that as well, so it works really well. But the everyday page, I think there's been about 4 days I've missed, and that's because I've been hungover or it's a lot of work. I don't know why. Like halfway through, I was like, "Oh, why have I done this?"
Yeah.
Like, the amount of days,
especially when it's Baltic now.
Like I'll be coming home late, and then I'll just take a photo of a plant. That'll do. Like there's days like that. Like I just can't be arsed some days. But I think next year, because people seem to enjoy it. Like I've got a good friend in Australia, and I don't see him a lot, and he's like, "I love this page because it's like catching up with you every day, sort of thing."
Right.
Like,
Okay.
I've seen what you're up to, and I was like, that kind of made me like, I'll keep doing it. I'll do it for you, Jack. There you go.
Yeah.
But I think after this year, I might carry on doing it, but I'll do it like my 52 weeks.
Okay.
More of like a quality over quantity sort of thing, because there's some absolutely shocking photos in there, and I'm like, I don't like it.
I don't think so, man. I really enjoy your stuff, and it's like consistent. It's of a style. It's cool.
It's pretty much just East Coast Bride, like, and it's made like from that page. I've started doing a new book, and it would be called like East Coast Bride, a New Town,
right?
Because it's meant to be like this new town. Well, it's not really anymore, but it's just not been maintained like East Coast Bride. So you see it in the photographs, like rubbish and things falling apart. And I think like having that as a wee book, I can put that out the way, and that's out of my head. I can start something new, and then that'll be that.
That'd be cool. Do you find when I had the XT3? So I know this is quite like niche chat. So like if you're watching like the Fujifilm cameras have like, it's called film recipes. So all your colors are like preset, and it looks like a film in your camera, and there's less of a barrier. So you take your photo, and it's pretty much good to post. And it annoys me now with the Sony. Obviously, it captures like an amazing amount, but I find that editing it is still, to me, it's still kind of cheating. I don't want to stylize it too much, because when I stylize it, I'm like, oh, this is just cheating. Whereas even though that's doing the cheating for you and it's giving you a recipe, it still feels more real. Do you know what I mean?
I know, like, I think that's why it's perfect for the everyday page.
Yeah.
I think 'cause it's quick, easy, and I can do it straight away. But then you get like presets on Lightroom as well.
Yeah.
Like you go on Lightroom and you just scroll down, and it's like you've got your presets there, like your settings. So
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing, but it's cutting out that bit. The only problem is when you shoot, like I shoot film in RAW, but most of the photos come back JPEG. So if it come to editing it, it's like I'm really restricted, like what I can actually do.
Yeah.
But I came from Nikon to Fujifilm, and the Nikon's great. I use that for like gigs and that still. But it's just, if I'm having this wee light tiny thing, and then I'll go back to my Nikon, it's like, oh my god, this is actually like a
Is that proper like DSLR?
It's like, weighs a ton. And I'm like, how did I heave this about up hills and like all that? Like, so that's one thing like you learn about photography as well, is I used to have, I'd go out a walk and I'd have like a zoom lens, a wide angle, a 50, a 35, and all these, and then like I'd bring all my lenses out with me.
Yeah.
And I'd end up just using the one.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that's what I've done now. I've just used the one lens, one camera for this everyday page, because sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. What is the lens?
It's a 35, but it's like equivalent of a 50.
Right, okay. Oh, with the crop, yeah.
But it does the job. I'm happy with it. So I think I'm sticking with Fuji. So my next camera will be like an X-T5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
it's
nice. It's got like, I've been watching videos, I'm like, that's everything I want. And it's more kind of professional like as well. So I could use it for client stuff.
Yeah. And you haven't seen Vulandis, is that right? On YouTube?
No.
Vulandis. He's amazing. He does like, he's in Detroit. He's a photographer, and he shoots on used to shoot in the Fuji systems anyway, but it's a mix of film. I think he's got like medium format cameras which aren't Fuji, and then I'm talking so much shit here. Anyway, he's got the X-T5 and the X-H2S or something, but he does portraits, like kind of street portraits, with like the Pro Mist filters on, and it's such cool stuff.
I used one of them, like the black mist filters, and I used it for like half of the year, but I think it's good for portraits, brilliant for portraits, but I was using it for everything, thinking, look good, make it look more kind of nostalgic, but it was just overexposing everything. I was probably just the preset I had as well, like the white balance was totally off, and I was like, what is the problem? Is it the camera? And then I took the filter off, and
it was just struggling to read it or something like that.
I was trying to take, because I thought it was meant to be good for like neon lights and stuff like that, and it was just like, couldn't even read the open sign sort of thing. So,
so it makes it all fuzzy.
I was like, not my, I'll use it for portraits, mind you, but not street photography or stuff like that.
Yeah. So how do you find hemorrhaging money into film photography?
That's why I bought that, to be honest.
I've stopped as well, man.
It's more like, so it was my pal Jack who got me into film photography, because I was shooting digital all the time. I was getting bored of it. Like, I think that's what I love, like always chasing photography, is like that beginner's like mentality.
Yeah.
Like, so it feels new and you're learning new stuff.
Yeah.
And he came over, and he had a film camera. I was like, that's really cool. Like, he showed me some of the photos he got. Like, he did like the North Coast 500.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, they're amazing. I need to like get myself a camera like that. So like, the week after, like, I bought this Nikon N80, and it was good because I had the Nikon, so I could use the lenses from that Nikon. So I could only just buy the body. It was like £80, but I actually bought two. But like the thing with that camera, it's so temperamental. It's like obviously like when you open the film door, the wee clip keeps breaking, so it's happened twice now with two of them.
It pops open and exposes the film.
And it just, it doesn't lock, so I was like, I'm not getting one of them again. But it was just more to like, but I learned a lot from shooting film as well, because it made me think about the composition more, because it's like, the shot's costing money, you know, like, but I enjoyed it. It was a great fun, like, and like more, it's now more of like a holiday thing.
Yeah,
like, or like if I'm at a party, I'll take like my granddad gave me a wee Olympus U2 or U1. I can't even remember what one it is, but it's just like a wee point and shoot thing, and I use that for parties, and people love the photos from it. So it's that sort of vibe.
I got one of those flashback ones recently. You know, it's like the digital film camera.
I bought one of them as well.
Oh, did you?
I gave it to my, like, that's my problem. I give people my cameras because I see them enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I bought like a wee Kodak thing, and it is like the MySpace kind of taking the selfies sort of thing, like digital camera. And I gave it to my pal, and I seen that she was just enjoying it, taking photos, and I was like, do you know what? I can see you enjoying that. Just have it. Like,
have it.
It was only like,
the flashback, the £100 one.
No, it's like a wee Kodak kind of digital camera thing.
Oh,
right,
like, okay.
It's like, just have it. And
right, okay.
now she's like the photographer at the parties now, so I can kind of sit back and relax.
I meant like there's a company called Flashback that does like, it looks like one of the old Kodak ones, and you wind it up, and then but it's connected to an app on your phone, so you choose a film before you start.
Yeah, I've seen them.
You download it to your phone, and it makes you wait like 24 hours to get your photos and stuff like that. It's quite cool.
That's a slow turnaround, 24 hours.
Yeah. It adds to it, like same as like waiting for your email from Galabi.
That's right. But that's another thing about film. Like sometimes you go through to get your photos back, and you're like, I can't remember taking that. Like, and that's actually a good photo. Like, so.
Or you go through it and you're like, not one of these is good.
That's it. And like you take like 30 odd photos, and you're like, these are shit.
Yeah. That's me every single time.
So it was fun, but then when that Nikon camera broke on me, I was a bit like, maybe this is a sign like to kind of calm down with films. I had hundreds of film, I was spending so much on it. But I get it at Christmas now, like I get a few film stocks, and
cool.
That's what I used. But I've got a film cam like stock in there now, but it's like ISO 100, so can't use it now. Like, so it's like I said, it's more of a holiday thing. And
what film stocks do you go for?
Well, Portra 100 and 400, and then the T-Max, the black and white film, and I think it's like Ecta or something.
Yeah.
So I've got that in the camera there now. So I was going to use that for when I was in Lanzarote, but I didn't realise I already had a film in it. So I only took like 3 shots of this, and then I was enjoying that too much. Like, that's still, I only got that camera last year,
Right.
so, and I'm just still loving it.
That's cool. That's all you need if it's the low kind of barrier from taking it to having it ready. That's what you want.
So I'm gonna get I think if I'm good this year, Santa will get me a wee pancake lens, and that'll be even better.
Keep it in the pocket.
That's it.
Did you ever use CineStill film?
Aye, I loved that as well. I loved that. I used that for a few gigs. I did a
cool.
gig photography, and I was using like a kaleidoscope sort of thing, and doing double exposures. And like when I do gig photography, like I do like the kind of still, kind of normal shots, but I like to go a bit mental and do like double exposures and try and make like the sound of the music in a photo, if that makes sense. Like, just if you see it, like there'll be like multiple of them, and trying to like kind of catch the vibe of the sound in that.
Oh, you mean on film?
I was doing that on film. I've tried it with that, but I'll do a few double exposures with that.
Is that got the inbuilt thing?
Yeah.
JPEG only?
Yeah.
It's quite
alright.
cool though.
Because what I was doing was like I'll do like a slow shutter and get all the lights and then take a photo of the actual subject. And it kind of adds to the atmosphere. But with the film, it was that. In fact, that Nikon had like a multiple exposure mode on it.
All right.
So like I thought it was just double, but there was a time I was shooting portraits, and I was like, I'll do a double exposure, and then I was doing the shoot, and then I realised I still kept it on like the multiple exposure. So I was taking like I think like a 10 exposure photo of like all these things, but it all mixed in, and it was like
did it look good?
It looked all right. It was like it was on my film page. I did that kind of hang on mental health, like how it's important to talk to your partner, and like if you are struggling and stuff, like that's like something that like is close to me. Like if you just talk about like problems of temperament, like temporary. So if you talk about it and if you keep holding it in and all that, it's just so. And then I did this kind of tried to like make it like this couple not talking to each other and connecting. So there was like, and with that multiple exposure accent, it just looked like a messed up kind of like in your head sort of thing. I was like, oh, that works. Like it didn't even mean it.
Yeah.
So it was a happy accident.
Oh, that's cool. That's like, have you seen did you watch BoJack Horseman?
I watched like the first season when it first came out.
You need to persevere. Just with the mental health chat, there's an episode which just sums up like getting like burnt out and anxiety and overwhelming and all that stuff perfectly. But BoJack is like, season 1 you think it's just another Family Guy or something like that.
Right,
and then it becomes genuinely one of the best things I've ever seen. Even like the bear rips it off constantly. A few shows rip it off, but it's so good.
There's a thing with stuff. I can't even remember what I was going to say again. But just talking about your problems is probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Like there's no point holding it in because everyone has demons and that, and that's why I love photography. It totally distracts me from them like moments, and that's what's good about the page as well. It's like I'm focused on something else, and it's making me forget like. But then it's just anxiety at the end of the day, like imposter syndrome. Like, am I good enough? But everyone gets it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do.
I was surprised to hear you say that because I think your stuff's absolutely class.
It's some like there is days like I'm like, because that was another thing with photography, especially with the abandoned places. It's like I am like quite like my photos are shite, but there is times where I'm like, I've done that. Like, and it made me feel good.
You got a book.
Aye.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's just like, that's just like my learning curve. Like, there's a lot of photos in there. And so that was when I was learning how to do this, that, and the other. But I think like any creative, like if you go, you're really good at that, you go, it's fine. But there is times I'm like, you know what, I'm really proud that I've done that. And that is one of them as well.
That's so cool, man. I think a way of framing it is like imposter syndrome and overthinking it and anxiety is good because it keeps you on your toes. Like you say, you like learning, you like getting better, and you hold yourself to a higher standard because you're disappointed if your work doesn't meet whatever idea you have in your head.
Yeah.
Whereas the people that just do it and think they're great, and there are loads of them, are fucking shit. And they become like arrogant and they just post pish.
It's like treat people how you want to be treated as well. Like especially in like, say if I was in a room with other photographers, like you're gonna get snobby people in there. And you're gonna get people who I think they're better than you, but it's just like a lesson to be like, I don't want to be like that guy. Sort of thing. And that's it. Like I don't know. I do suffer with like, especially like with creative stuff. Like I think I'm never good enough. Like I think it is the whole kind of I've not studied for it, whereas all like probably I always think, they've went to college for that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's it, and they know more than me. But at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
we're making.
And all the best photographers historically, they didn't do like an HND or whatever. Like they just took photos in their class,
That's it.
and they did their own thing rather than just copying what everyone else is doing.
It's like it's finding like inspiration as well. Like what kind of gets like I always go for like a kind of nostalgic like stuff that reminds me of being young, and I think everyone goes mad on nostalgia as well. Like so, I always kind of chase that. Like that's why it's like the classic cars, and stuff like the amount of times I'm driving about. Like, there's got to be a car somewhere. There's got to be something like a caravan or something that reminds me of when I was growing up, you know?
I sort of went, so the podcast, a couple episodes with Dave Rossi was in Dunure. And I was looking through your page and I was like, that's the fucking Mini from Dunure. And I clicked on and said you were down there. I was like, because I remember passing it, I was like, that's a really cool car. And it's like in the driveway with like a wee kind of mini palm tree, whatever you call them. You took a great photo. I was like, oh, nice.
I like it there, Dunure. It's really nice. I used to do a lot of like astrophotography as well. Like, didn't do it much, but that was like one thing, like a learning curve as well. Like using a tripod and being patient, but then it's like one of them ones like, I've caught the Milky Way. I've got a cracking photo of the Milky Way. It's like Dumfries and Galloway at the Dark Sky Park. I was like, well, I've got it now. Like I don't need to get it again. But there's some days I'm like, it'd be good to get out, and like the Northern Lights as well.
Did you get them?
The first time I got them was on a whim. We were just out driving about, me and my mates, and it was like a reflection, like what I thought was a reflection on the windscreen, and we were both like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Pull over," and I was like, "Oh, it's the fucking Northern Light."
Shit.
But you know that way I'm pure shit. Like this is when I've just started like taking. But I think if it wasn't for that night, like I wouldn't start chasing more, getting that next photo sort of thing. So I was out every night trying to get the Northern Lights and that. And then I got really into like taking photos of the stars and that, and I was just learning about ISO and slow shutters and aperture and all that jazz as well. Like, and then I got that, and that was it. I was like, all right, I've got that photo now, and then that was around the same time that was happening as well. And then I got a camera. I got the Nikon camera, and then that was more like I said, got it a bit old now. It's a D7-100 or something, and it does the job. Took that photo, so and it was that photo there that made me kind of think this should be a book.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like that, so I was like, that's a book cover right there. I always kind of go for like album cover sort of photos as well, like
with your music background.
That's it. So it's like the minimalist sort of shots. I'm like, that would make a cool album cover. So any musicians want an album cover? Yeah,
there you go.
That's it.
Yeah, and you also do like the same as what we're doing here. So you do your comedy photography. You had
that's right.
Is it Material Girl? So Amanda Dwyer.
I actually went to college with Amanda.
Oh, did you?
Doing music.
Class.
She plays piano. I think she does like tuition now on the side.
Right. Okay. She's hilarious. I love her and Susan on Material Girl. It's a great listen.
When we did that shoot in I can't remember the name of the place now. It was like a fabric store.
Yeah.
I was like, this is mad. And then the pure woman was like the person who was working there was like, oh, I get this, that.
And she into it as well.
Yeah, getting all these like fabrics out and that. But it was a good laugh. It was totally out of my comfort zone a wee bit as well. I've never done anything like that. So I was like more like a public setting. Like, but it was fine. And they were happy with the photographs and a lot of focus. It was just fun. Like, I think that's what it came down to. But it was so funny when I first met Amanda. I was during the Glasgow Comedy Festival. I was shooting one gig before, and then Material Girl one was on after. So I'm just there, and it's like, I can't remember who was saying, so there's another show on after if you want to photograph that. And I was like, I'll do that for a wee bit. I need to get the last train. And then I seen Amanda. I was like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here? Like, I was like, oh, right. And then it was so weird, like from seeing her being a musician and then on the stage, like absolutely killing it.
Oh, that's like, cool.
I didn't know it. Like, she was quite quiet in college, and then she's coming out with all this. I was like, that's amazing. So it was good. And then that's it. And one thing led to another. And then obviously I take photos for her, and then it's just where it keeps rolling, you know. Like, someone sees your work, goes, oh, I'll do you, and that's it.
That's cool. The one in the mirror is cool, I think. With the,
I do like a mirror shot. Like, you see the kind of reflection. Like I learned that from shooting in a barbershop.
Oh, right,
doing that, and then it's quite good.
What was that barbershop shot? You did one, it was like a whole shoot recently, right?
Is it the
Is that a
one?
motorbike or something?
I did. Is it the This Is England sort of vibe one, or was it actually in the shop?
I think it was in the shop, yeah.
That was where I get my haircut. Iconic Tony. He's a sound guy. Like
Yeah,
10
they
out
were
of 10.
class.
Like Pierce supports me, and like if I ever go like, oh, I've got a shoot in mind, so I did like This Is England sort of thing. So I messaged him like, could you? And he got the models and cut the hair for it and all that. And we went out and did the shoot.
Class.
And it's like I always have a creative idea, like so. I'll kind of ask him like, if you want to do this, sort of, we want to do like an 80s, 70s kind of like mullet in a snooker hole sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's done, and that's going to be like the next shoot I've want to do with him. So it's good for him as well. He gets kind of like his work out there and my work out.
That's a good partnership.
Aye, definitely.
I've got an idea. My goal with the podcast there's a bit down near where I stayed, near Green and Castle, and there's like rocks that go out into the water, but it looks like a kind of walkway, and it's all kind of like triangular. And then in the background, if it's misty, it's just plain white. And I wanted to get Simon Neil from Biffy's and Airboy standing in the back there with all the mist, black and white, proper grainy. Like a blindfold on or something. I think it would look cool as well.
That would like see like in a magazine or something, like in the interviews, like that, or like something like that.
Yeah.
Or like when you open the vinyl and you got like artwork in there, like that's so cool.
That's my two pod list bucket lists is shoot with Simon Neil and Bob Mortimer. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
It's good to have them goals, but it keeps you going, you keep chasing it, and it's if you believe in it, like the manifestation stuff, like if you keep thinking about it or saying it, it's gonna happen, and it does something.
There you go, Bob.
There you go.
What's been like your favourite shoot?
Funny enough, and I don't know why, years ago, it was a basketball game I got invited to.
Right.
It was these group of musicians that had this kind of page where, I don't know what it was to be honest, but it was a guy I went to college with, and he messaged me like, oh, we need a photographer for this basketball game. But see, looking back, I think they wanted me to take photos of them at this basketball game, like so it's like kind of influencer sort of thing. But I was just shooting the game. Like, and I didn't understand. It wasn't like clear what I was meant to do. But I was shooting a basketball. I think that was the most fun I had because it was something I've never done.
Yeah.
And there's these guys with like these big telephoto lenses, and I only had like my wee, I think it was like a 50 I had with me, and it worked. I liked it, but
a bit different.
But I think my favourite, like the one that I look back on, is from Self-Made, and it was Shed Shack skateboards. They make skateboards and that, and I think it was just probably because I grew up skateboarding, and it was seeing like I made me like appreciate it a lot more. What the hard work that goes into making a skateboard, and I think it's because it was local as well. And I thought, and the photos I got, like, it was nice framing ones, and just them pure working away in that. And I was like, this is really cool. Like,
that's cool.
But I think that like my favourite one, I've got one photo in mind actually, and it was shot at the Cat Cafe in Edinburgh, and I was sitting at the window, and there's a wee cat, and then there's a wee boy at the window, and he's like looking through,
through the window,
class. I was like, that's a good photo. So I kind of went like that and took it, and it was on film as well, and I was like, I hope that turned out well. I really hope. And to this day, like, it is like, I think it's just because it's so comical and innocent, and you know, it reminded me of like a wee postcard or something. Like, well, and I don't know, it cheers me up, and it's just this photo of this guy, this wee boy trying to teach a cat through a window. So
there's a cat cafe literally just
is it
3 or 4 buildings down? Yeah, just on the left. It just opened up. I didn't know Air was there yet. They were trying it anyway. I was walking by with my dog, and she was straining to get in. But, with the shooting comedy gigs, how did you find that? Were you like stuck in a place? Were you free to kind of roam about?
So my first one was actually by chance. So I was working away, and it was Raymond Mearns came in.
Oh yeah, class.
And it was so weird because me and a guy I was working with at the time, we were talking about him, and he was like, he plays guitar and all that. And I was like, does he? I didn't know that. And then I was in myself, and then he walked in. I was like, no way, is that him? He's just walked in.
Yeah.
But I treated him like a normal customer and all that, and then I was like, there's a voice in my head just asking. I was like, oh, because I recognised him from Lemmy's show.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, you got the extra finger skit. And I was like, I just said. I was like, was it in the future? Like, because the keyboards and that, you rub an extra finger. And I was like, are you from Lemmy's show? And he was like, aye, Raymond. And I was like, you still doing like, so I didn't really know like of him. Like I knew it from Lemmy's show, and he's like, I just said, do you need a photographer? And he's like, I've got a show this Friday if you want to come along.
Class.
So I got his number and that, and messaged him, and he invited me along, and that's where I met Mick McNeil. I think Amy Matthews was hosting that night. And there was Magic Mike. There was like a kind of performance kind of.
Right. Okay.
There's a few like comedians, and then at the stand. And I was totally free to go about to do what I wanted. It was amazing. And then that opportunity there is what kind of got me where I am now with portraits and shooting comedians. If it wasn't for me just asking that question, I wouldn't be where I am now doing it.
That's cool.
Sometimes you look down the viewfinder and you're like, oh, that's brilliant. And then when it's on the biggest screen, you're like, oh, it's so out of focus. I've got like blepharitis in my eye, so I, like sometimes, like especially my right eye, it's just sometimes.
What is that?
It's like, I don't know. I think it's when your eye like produces too much oil or something.
Right. Okay.
And
it's like a black mist filter.
Pretty much, definitely. And so I put drops in, but sometimes like it's both my eyes, and I'm like taking photos. I'm like, I'm really hoping this is in focus. Like, but I think it's one of them things with Crohn's disease, like because it is like.
Oh, is it linked?
Yeah, it's like your immune. Well, I think the injections I'm under now like mess with my immune system, so my skin can dry up and like I get flare up. But it's one of them things you have to deal with.
Yeah. How do you find the Crohn's thing? Is it that can like debilitate you for like months, right?
Well, at the start it was really bad. I was like 6 stone. And I was like
6 stone.
6 stone. I was, and I thought it was just from having a busy lifestyle, like being at college, working, and going out getting mad with it all the time. And I thought I better stop. And then I think it was close to New Year's, around this time actually. My mum was on like away at a caravan. She came back, and I was just sitting in my room. She's like, "I'm taking you to A&E." I was like apparently like yellow and was just looking horrible. And then, I got the good old colonoscopy, and
oh, nice.
I was
Happy New Year.
pretty much, But that was an experience. But I'm glad I got it done because I was on like got put on steroids, and then I was like from 6 stone to like 14 stone.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like pure like someone just went and blew me up,
Right,
you
okay.
know. But I'm like it was just one of them things at the. But I'm the only one in my family to get it. Apparently, it's like hereditary.
All right.
I'm the only one to get it, so that's that.
Yeah. I know a couple of people with it. It's only been this year. I've heard of like a few people having it. It's weird.
Especially in Scotland. It's really, I think it's just a lack of vitamin D we get here.
Right, okay.
Like there's no sunlight. But I don't know, that was just, it could be true, I don't know. But it's a lot more common. Like at first I thought, oh, I'm the only guy with this. And then you meet people with it and you kind of share stories about shiting yourself. And
right, okay,
like, that's it. But it's one of them things.
Yeah. Damn. And so comedy photos just now, I think this will be out in the next couple of days. You're currently offering for the Glasgow International Comedy Festival, offering photos and stuff like that.
I just thought it builds up my portfolio, and a lot of these comedians are still like working and like starting off in that. So they can't really afford, like some photographers charge an arm and a leg just for like 5 headshots. And it's like, it's a bit much. Like, so I thought I'd do this just to kind of, so I can get a bit of money and they can get exposure and get the headshots they need.
How do you find the balance of like charging? Because
it's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I do it for free. Like it's one of them ones. Like, but it's like if I want to do the shoot, like for example that This Is England shoot, or I think there's another one I've done. Like self-made as well. Like I'll do it for free because that's something that I want to do for me, and they get something out of it. They get nice photos and that. So.
Does it amp up the imposter syndrome if you're charging?
It does a wee bit. It's like, how much am I worth? Like, I don't know how much, like, but like for this, like, I thought I'd charge a bit of money because it is costed, like, petrol's expensive, train fares are going up and all that jazz. So it costs me money and time. Like, I take a day off work you know what I mean? So that's how I'm kind of justifying it.
Yeah.
£60.
Yeah, it does add up.
It's quite cheap, I know.
Yeah, so that is.
But then if it is more like people, like if there's like a group thing, I would put it up more because I'm doing more work.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm doing like for students as well, like in music and performing arts. I thought I'd do a discounted thing for them as well because the students and can't afford it.
Yeah, that's cool. That was the thing with this podcast. Like I never really taken photos of people before unless it's like while you're hiking. It's just like a background candid or whatever. So it was just to practice and build up portfolio. But it's been class networking. But yeah, if it's like a good friend, I'll do it for free. But I've had times in the past where I've taken a day off work, confirmed with someone, and they cancel in the morning. It's just like, oh, you bastard.
It cost me money.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a wedding?
I did one,
How did you
and I'll
find
never go back to it again.
I've actually done two.
Oh, have you?
I did one. It was because Holly does photography as well.
Oh, right,
so
cool.
she actually went and studied and did a HND for it, and she's amazing. She doesn't do it much anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so I think that's why I bought her a wee film cat, like the
Get her back into it.
Because she takes cracking photos and she's got a good eye for it as well. And it was someone she knew had a photography pulled out of a wedding, and then I think they broke their leg or something like that, something crazy like that. And it's like, oh, do you want to come? I was like, I'll come along with you.
Yeah.
So we did do it, and I was just starting out then, like very beginning, and I was like, oh my god! But I was just using a big flash and all that. But luckily, like I don't know if like someone was looking over me that day. The flash was working perfectly with the lens. It knew what lens I was using and all that. So it went all right. It was just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry. And then the second time was for one of my pals' sisters getting married, and that was local, and it's all right. But I think I don't want to cause shade, but I wasn't looked after a wee bit. Like it's like the meals and all that, and I'm like, right, what am I meant to do now? And I ended up sitting with one of the families because someone went home early, and I had the dinner there.
Just take good dinner.
So it was the piper there, and like everyone else had like their own wee bit, so I sat with them and had the meal. But it was, I won't do it again. It's just too much pressure. And it's not. I feel like I can't get creative with it as well. Like I'm restricted with, and it's one thing. Like you see, I don't know if you've ever had it. Like someone goes, "Oh, could you take photos, but do it like this guy?"
Yeah.
It's like, no. Like if you want that guy, get that guy, sort of thing. So that's annoying when people ask you like, can you make it look like this? It's like, I've got a style, like, and that's how it works. If you like my style, it's like a tattoo artist or something like that. You're not gonna go, can you do a realistic tattoo for someone who only does like traditional kind of tattoos?
Because you doing your style is going to be 10 times better than you copying someone else for the first time ever. But I'd seen a few things about that in photography where it's important to have in your contract creative license. Like, I need creative license to come and do this job. Otherwise, because you've been to like whatever like restaurants and jobs. Okay, I want this photo. Come here and take a photo of that. Come here and take a photo of that. And it's like you don't know like what lens I've got on. You don't know how the lighting's working here. It looks shit. Just like let me do my thing. But then on the other hand, they are paying you for it. So like it's a difficult balance.
That's it. But as long as it turn out well and they're happy. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think they say they're happy, maybe they go, oh, fuck. Don't want them in it.
Yeah. I've chatted about this a couple of times before in the pod. Like, we used to present the photos to the people on the pod, like live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what we were thinking, but it's changed now. So Amanda Dwyer, funnily enough, said, do the interview first so you don't waste all your good chat. That's crazy. Did that straight away, it just made sense. And then I think it was with her maybe slightly before, we said, right, we'll narrow it down to like 10, 15, send them to you. You pick like 5 or whatever that you're happy with, hopefully 5, and then the other ones we'll use. But it's a much safer way, but it's just one of these things, like you say, when you're learning, like that's, it's putting people on the spot, and a few uncomfortable people for sure, looking back. So I was saying when you kindly got the coffee about, you did so the idea for this podcast it was a mix. So Rick Glassman's podcast, which I've chatted about a few times, at the end he takes like a Polaroid photo of everyone,
Mm-hmm.
And he had his guest, and then he'd made like a pod snaps page or whatever, and it was everyone. I was like, that's cool. He's bringing photography into a podcast. I want to do that. And then like 2 days later, I think I'd come across, you had like businesses, and it was like documentary photography of the businesses, but you'd like done a little interview bit, and that was kind of like solidifying the idea, which kind of came of it. So yeah, thank you for that.
That's all right.
Bumped your idea, but
that's fine. It was the whole point of that was to get out my comfort zone. Like at the time was like I wasn't shooting much people, and I thought, what, I've never shot in black and white. I didn't really shoot kind of commercial stuff like that, so I thought I'm just going to go right in the deep end and do it. And I don't know if I am dyslexic, but I really struggle writing.
Right.
So I thought this is something as well. Like I'm just going to put it all out in one, like and do a bit of writing on it, and totally just put myself in out my comfort zone, and it worked really well. I feel like it's not finished though, because there's a few places I still like asked, and they're probably like, oh God, when's he gonna come and do that? Like, But like the camera's broke, so it's a bit.
Oh shit. And you want it to be consistent.
That's it. Same lens, same film stock, and same camera. So I could do it or replicate it on that, but it's just I would know like it's not on film. So
yeah.
But it was great fun doing it, and I learned a lot. I've got a lot of free stuff out of it. Well, I say free stuff. I got a tattoo out of it actually.
All right.
Because it was my pal Stu, like that. He kind of, because I went to school with this guy, and then he's like watching him grow, and then having his own tattoo place. I was like, he's like sacrificed so much, and I was like, that's amazing. And I was like, kind of wanted to do it as well to inspire other people who say wanted to do like a tattoo shop or a barber shop or different kind of factors in like these businesses. I thought I'll inspire people to kind of, if they're thinking of doing it, and ask these questions like, how do you deal with negativity? How do you like, I don't know, I can't even remember. I think I know like.
Is it the same questions for everyone?
A lot of them, So it was something like if it was like a hairdresser's or like the barber's, I'd change it to fit that sort of thing. But people enjoyed it, and people were really looking forward to it. Like when I started doing it more, and it was good fun. I loved it. Got to meet a lot of people and hear stories.
Yeah, that's cool. How much of a repair is the camera?
Probably not much.
No.
I think it's just one of them ones like I'm too lazy to kind of
okay.
go into town and take it, because it is just literally like the wee catch isn't locking. I tried putting like duct tape around it.
Right, yeah.
And like put duct tape so it stays down, and I tried it, and I went back to the camera and it lifted a wee bit. And I think I could probably still get one cheap, or I might just use the other film camera I've got and just it's the same lens that's on it, so it'll be the same sort of thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, it was a great wee series.
Yeah, I loved it as well, and it was a shame so I was going to bring that in a wee magazine and stuff like that, but this was one of them ones. It was I don't know, I started doing, don't know what I did after that. So I kind of I stopped taking photos for a long time as well, because our flat was getting renovated, and I was in and out of the house, and I was just so busy, didn't have time to take photos. So that was another reason for this everyday page. It's like making up for last year's not getting photos. So
There's
I was
some commitment, man.
So I was like, right, I'll do this and take a photo every day, and it's been good. It's good fun. And people enjoy it. But to be fair, if you want to just hear me moan about work and how, what I've done that day, it is pretty quite repetitive. But that was another reason. Social media is it's a bit fake, and I wanted to kind of make it a bit more real. I don't know, people get bad days. Everyone always posts when it's good.
Yeah.
I'm on holiday. I'm doing this. I'm having such a good time. I've got a new car and this, that, and the other. And when you see that constantly, it's like, fuck, man, everyone's getting new cars or going on holiday. Whereas I just kind of wanted to create a place where it's this guy's just going to work every day and that's it.
Yeah.
This guy's working, he's kind of living his life, and just that's it. Just kind of make it more a real and make sure everything's fine.
No, absolutely. And if you can do that and still have cool photos like you do it as awesome.
I don't know how I get. My favourite ones I think are cool are the classic cars, and where it looks like you've stepped back in time. I think there's one of an old Astra, and it was the flats behind it,
Yeah.
And it just looked like something from the like early 2000s, like late
Yeah.
90s, and I was like,
It's mad how that's now nostalgic when you just thought it was
no, it
crap
makes you
at the
feel
time.
old, doesn't it? It makes you
Yeah.
feel a wee bit old. But then, like I think I said in the caption, it's like, it was weird how, like, back in the day, that car looked modern, and then it's like, is the cars that are coming out now, getting like the next 20 years, going to look pure old?
I know it's mad because you always think, it can't really get much better now without being stupid. Yeah, it's yourself and what's the other one I really like? Colin Templeton. Have you seen his stuff?
Oh, I've heard the name.
He does stuff like
yeah.
it's like the high-rise flats, but he does
right,
the old kind of cars as well. But yeah, it's proper cool.
I liked his, like, see the ones with the high rises, and it's like the framing of the window, and he's got like the paintings on the side of the wall. It's like, I think that's what inspired. See, when I see photos like that, it's like what, like, photographers, when I'm trying to put this into words now. So it's like, if they take a photo and I'm like, I wish I took that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what inspires me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like copying, like, I'm going to take a photo just like that. It's like, I need to get, like, that sort of level sort of thing. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to explain, but...
No, I get you. I think with having that consistent style, I like... Because even though you're doing different kinds of photography with, like, people and buildings and the cars and the old school stuff, it's still quite consistent. I find personally that I think I'm not consistent at all. Because I can have ones of, like... I'll take, like, a sunset photo. I'm like, right, I'm just going to do sunsets on the coast. It'll be coastal photography. And then I'll get a film camera. Like, right, all I want to do is black and white film. All I want to do is colour film. And now I'm like, right, I'm just doing portraits of people. I'm like, it's just all over the place. But I still enjoy it.
I think it was, like, Jason Lee. Like, he's a skateboarder, so he put it really well. He was like, he said, what did he say? He said, like, you'd see something when you're skating. Like, you say you'd see, like, a curb or, like, a set of stairs. You go, I want to skate that. It's like that with photography. Like, you'll see things, go, I want to photograph that. And then you just kind of do that. And it's one of them things, like, if you want to do it, just do it. Like, you go, that would be cool, like portraits or whatever.
Man, like, my fiance always says that with so you always like to take photos of the most boring shit. Like, most of my photography I don't post. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're out and about, you see, like, a pink, like, there was one of, like, a pink can in, like, the frosted grass, but it was just a can someone had stood on. And but I think that as well, if you go to, like, a nice touristy spot, the photographers won't be taking the shot of the nice place. They'll be taking some other random shit.
That's what I love about photography, because obviously when you start out, you'll go, like, I think that's the reason I stopped doing the abandoned places as well, because you go there and everyone would just get the same photo.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not really unique, is it? And that's what I've noticed now. Like, when I go out these walks, I'll be like trying to find the real side of it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll go to, like, these like landmarks and that, and it's like, it's nice, but there's, like, a bin there that's got, like, an umbrella hanging out of it. You know.
I'm looking forward to our photos now, just us next to bins.
Well, I did I photographed Stu Campbell, comedian, 2 days ago, and he was like, I want, like, the kind of gritty side of Glasgow.
Cool.
I was like, oh, brilliant, that's what I love.
Specialty, yeah.
So we're going down alleyways, hanging about the bins. It was great.
Was that wasn't the one with the down by the river, right?
That's right.
With the graffiti wall. I think
I
went there for the sausage
king.
king. Oh, did you? Nice.
Well, I seen it on the train actually, and I was like, oh.
It's like a wee bit.
And I was like, it works, and there's actually a guy spray painting there, so I kind of went and took some photos of him.
Yeah. And when we were taking those photos, there was this mad guy with a big See You Jimmy hat on. I think where was he from? Oh, I can't remember where he was from, but he was just dancing about with Mikey as the sausage king. But we didn't know him. He was just like the perfect fit. It was hilarious. I got a photo of him as well.
It's so funny. When I first met him, I think it was at
Mikey. Right.
It was one of the comedy shows anyway, and I was just chatting away to him, and it wasn't until I got home, like a few weeks later, I seen, like, the Absolutely Roasting video. I was like, wait, that's him.
I was
like, that is brilliant. So that's like iconic, that video.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
I didn't even realise, and it was quite bad, it was literally, I think it was like the night before he was on the pod, because I just saw, like, his stand-up clips, and I think I'd seen him at a night. I thought, he's funny, I'd like to get him on the pod, and he was, like, absolutely brand new. And it was literally the night before, and I was doing research, and it's like Bergamo. I'm like, fuck off. Like, that was years ago. That's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah. I took the guy who works here, Chrissy, and we went to his show of The Sausage King, and that was his first ever comedy show.
Oh, is it?
It's funny, yeah. It's quite an entry into stand-up.
Definitely, yeah. He's got some good power, that's for sure. And even his Facebook posts as well, like what he comes out with, I'm like, that's so funny.
I just recently got Facebook, and he was one of the first people that kind of added me. I deleted it for years.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be anyway. But, aye.
So, in terms of photos today, happy to do the kind of normal portraits, but I didn't know if you wanted to mix it up and just take other kind of photos.
Just go with the flow. That's kind of what I do anyway. It's just,
cool.
It's one of them things when you're taking people's photos, it's fine, but if you, like when you get your photo taken, oh my god, it's like I'm putting people through this. It's pure brutal. But
I know.
My friend Connor, he does like the old vintage football shirts.
Yeah.
And it's,
is this the one with the Garfield thing? Why? Because I see the photos and they are cool, and the football shirts are cool, and there's always like the Garfield cartoon, and now I'm like, it's cool. I want to see how they recreate this. Like in a photo form, and it's class. But I never knew like why.
I don't know. I think that's just his thing. Like,
right, okay.
He loves cartoons and obviously football as well. And I actually photographed him for that mental health thing. It was him and I think his name's Ellie. Aye, and we talked about film cameras, and I gifted him one, so I just used that. We're working, and he's kind of started this film shooting. Oh, nice. Vintage football tops, and he's got a good following from it. He's doing really well.
It's cool because he does like a voice in Overwatch or something. I saw him post that. So I saw him post that, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, man. That's amazing. And then I saw a Lemmy clip where Lemmy's like, oh, let's see, and it's like, and he did the voice, and he's like, oh, come on. And I was like, oh no. It's like if I was our age and like in Glasgow or Glasgow's surrounding areas and Lemmy slagged me, I'd just be like, oh no, what have I done?
Well, Lemmy just slags everyone though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This and slag me. That English Scottish guy.
I forgot about him in the bucket list actually. I think I would. Yeah, that'd be too.
It'd be good to
too scary, man. Yeah, Lemmy's class.
That's it.
I heard him on his own streaming thing, just saying he can't be fucked with podcasts anymore. And he's just done with them. He's just quite happy doing his Twitch stuff.
It's doing well with it as well.
Yeah.
Well, I've watched a few of his streams, but like it's a pure like effort to watch a full stream because it's like 3 hours sometimes.
I'll just do the
like
clips.
During lockdown, I did it a lot. Like you'd watch it because you had the time. But depends what they're playing as well. Like a lot of video game. If it's something silly, it's like I'm not watching a guy play like Disney game or something.
It's funny how all these streamers are like 18-year-olds with like blue hair, and then there's just Lemmy, like he's 10 times better than any of them.
I think all it comes down to is the power.
Yeah,
like, that's what if you can be consistent in talking and carry on the like. I don't know how like they can play a game and then like read a chat as well. Like, and then I'll be like, what? Like trying to read it. Just pausing the game every so often. But it's crazy how big that's came. I remember like when like streaming first came out, it's like, oh, why do you want to watch people play video games? But you end up doing it.
I slagged my wee brother for it so much. I'm like, you're watching someone play a game when your game is right there.
But their argument's like, oh, you watch football, you watch this.
That's a fair argument.
It's just, I don't know, it's a different world now.
Yeah, and I was just talking about watching a camera strapped to a guy's chest and taking photos when I've got a camera myself.
That's it. But you learn, like, because I used to watch, like, especially during lockdown, it was like Warzone. Like, everyone played Warzone, so I'd watch, like, a few streamers. And then from watching them, I was like, oh, I'm getting quite good at this. I don't know if it was just because I'm playing a lot of it and watching it as well. Like, but you know, like, wee routes to take and what weapons to use and that. And you're like, oh, it makes you better at the game. So that's probably why people watch it. I used to love playing video games, especially horror games. I think like that was in my hands. That was a big inspiration for that as well. Like the horror genre, and that's it. But that's it.
I'm the opposite. I'm like Mario games and shit like that. I love that. Mario Kart is like the only thing I still play.
It's good fun though. It's a good laugh.
I had it. They've got it in here, like Mario Kart in the Switch. I've not like played it in the office yet, but I had an idea for a podcast where I've got one of these Envato things so you can record what's on the TV and then just get like a comedian and have like set questions. And we'll do like whatever, like mess about battle racing at the end. Everyone does Rainbow Road with the same driver, and we'd do like a top gear
Oh
leaderboard.
yeah, that'd be really
With
good.
like
Yeah.
just whatever, like basically the same guests as I have on here. But I've reached out to a few people and they're all really up for it. And I just need to get my finger out. But
So a podcast I thought about doing is I mentioned it like when we were chatting online. It's like being in the car and just driving, and like so I was thinking like get like different photographers. You just drive and chat in the car, and then like say if it was a street photographer, go about the streets. If it's like a landscape, you'd drive up north or go to a studio or do whatever and do something like that and try differently, see different styles of photography and talk about it.
That'd be awesome, man.
But that was just an idea. I've got hundreds of ideas. Like one idea I had was just I was going to call it the green room and just photograph green rooms, like like at venues and that.
All right, yeah. I thought you meant the green room. That's like the Darren Connell's podcast. What's the guy called? I can't remember. Yeah. A guy has like the green room. You know the one where every podcast is filmed in, like the Glasgow guys.
I told about that. Yeah. No, it was like just in like the Barrowlands, just take a photo of the green room.
Yeah, that'd be a cool series.
And just go around all these venues, and it's just because it's places not a lot of folk get to see.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like to photograph. Like.
Yeah. Aye, that'd be cool.
Another wee photo idea I had as well was like I was thinking of just quitting my job and working in a coffee shop so I could photograph like the same table at the same time every day. Just to see what different people sit there.
Right, okay,
like, and then tell different stories.
Yeah.
And just continuously take a photo of this one table.
That's cool, man.
I'd call it like table 3 or whatever number the table was. But
I like that.
And that would be I think it's just continuous taking the photo of the same thing. I think people must think I'm crazy, but I think that would work.
Yeah, I can definitely see merit in that. That's cool.
So I think that's it. That's everything I've got in photography mind right now.
Yeah.
I think, but there's always something like, I always wanted to be like a cartoonist. You see like writing in the news, like doing cartoons in a newspaper.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking of like wee things, and I'm like, how could you do that in photography? And one, for example, was the ghosts I done.
Yeah.
You see like do like mixing the washing, and then like the sheets. So they've got the pink sheet, and then that was something like I originally thought of as like, oh, that would be a cool wee like kind of comic strip.
That'd be awesome. Like a photo with the caption underneath as if it was like the New Yorker or something.
That's
awesome.
Where the idea like came from, with the sheet ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's brilliant. I bought the book. Did you see, is it Asher Perelman? He's quite popular now with his wee cartoons and does really funny ones. I got his book. It's really good. But aye. We can maybe caption some of the photos today then.
I will go and
we do it.
I will go for it, aye.
Right, cool. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank
it's
you
much
for
appreciated.
having me,
First photographer as well, so I'm buzzing to get someone on.
Aye, brilliant.